Hello and welcome to my 10,742nd video on YouTube. Actually, it's not that much, but getting pretty close. Today, I thought I'd do something different. Actually, a couple of things are different. First of all, the most obvious thing is that I removed the black background. People have been wondering, what's behind there? Let's see all the dead bodies. So there are the dead bodies right there. You're seeing this wonderful drum kit, one of a kind. Not really. But not only that, but after I finish the guitar presentation, I'm going to take you on a tour of the studio. I'm going to take my phone and walk you through all these amplifiers and guitars and just show you my work environment. The man cave, if you will. But the other thing that I thought I'd do is, instead of showing you a complete arrangement, which is what I essentially do every week, a full performance, I'd share with you a process of how I create an arrangement. The song I picked is The Fez by Steely, a great song that has been on my list for a very long time, just never got around to it. So I sat down with it a little bit this morning to kind of pick out some of the chords and some of the movements, and I have some initial ideas about what I want to do with the song, and I thought I'd share that with you. So I hope you have fun with this. And just one more thing before we get going here. It's very important. Do me a favor, like this video, share all my videos, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Tell all your friends, family, students about my channel and help get the word out. It's just how it is these days. The viewership on YouTube is just going down. The more videos I post, it seems that I'm getting less every week. I'm not whining about it. I'm just saying it's the dreaded algorithm or whatever it is. And in order to stay on the air, to be able to give you a nice new video every week, it would really help me if you help me with subscriptions, likes, shares, and so forth. So let's get started. So the first bit of good news is that the tonal center of the song appears to be in A minor, which is great for us, for the guitar, because it's easy to play. And that's where the good news ends. The rest of it, of course, is a pure Steely Dan, so we're going to have to put some work into this. So the tune starts with 4 7th chords, which are kind of unique because it plays on that dissonance, that tritone dissonance between the 3rd and the 7th, which is a sound that in itself is not very pleasing, but it really works for this song. It's kind of what they emphasize. And it goes down in fifths or up in fourths, however you want to call it. Starts with the C#7, so I'm only playing a bass note, and this is essentially imitating what the song is doing. And I should say basically that my general thinking about this particular arrangement is that I want to try to imitate essentially what the band is doing, kind of play the same style, play all the parts, because that's not always the case. Oftentimes, especially when it comes to jazz standards or even some pop songs, I want to change the nature of the song. I will speed it up or turn a fast song into a ballad just for the heck of it. But here I really want to try to play the song more or less as I hear it. And of course, solo guitar is all about compromises. You can't do everything. So we'll see where we can gloss over things and what things we want to highlight, what things we can have to compromise on. So anyway, so I'm just playing a bass note plus the movement, and that's the whole chord right there. There's nothing else to do really. And like I said, it moves in a cycle, and the next chord is an F#7, and these two notes move down. It's interesting that the 3 and the 7 turn now into the 7 and the 3 of the next chord, but that's more theory than you need to know at this point. B7, same thing. And then the rhythm starts, and one thing that kind of drives the rhythm here a lot is the bass. There's that relentless 16th note feel. So the chords as I hear them are A-7, F, at not quite a major 7 at this stage, but an F, a B minor, probably a minor 7 flat 5, but again, we don't necessarily hear a full chord at this stage, and some kind of an implied E minor or E7 sharp 9 type. Again, we don't have to play a full chord. And I noticed that some of the bass notes are anticipated. So the F, you anticipate it with an E, and same thing with a B coming down from a C. And those are the main features of the bass line. Again, I can't copy the great bass line of the original arrangement, but I can kind of try to create a cheap imitation that hopefully is good enough to pass, especially when you blend in the other parts. So, and of course, it should be mentioned that you can also use the open A. Something like that. Then you have this melody. And I'd be happy at this stage just to be able to play the bass and that little melody, because just the two parts together imply a full harmony right there. These two notes occurred at the same time, so so that's basically the introduction melody, and I'm keeping it at this range because in a moment we're going to be doing the same thing. An octave higher. Oftentimes I will move a melody up and down an octave over the original arrangement because of convenience, because I just can't do it. But here I have the ability to play the melody in both octaves, so I'm doing it in this octave because in just a moment I'll be doing it an octave higher. So I'm going to do this slowly and then move on to the vocal melody. So what happened here is that we have a melody that's conveniently just four melody notes: A, C, D, E. These three melody notes are while the F is happening. Here's the next three melody notes are conveniently, in my mind, as a knucklehead guitar player, are associated with a fingering, the dreaded block fingerings, but they come in handy once in a while. So here's this one for the B minor 11. And you can see that these two melody notes are contained in the fingering, and then we just have to get this one extra. And for the last melody portion. And then, same thing. So you got this kind of fingering, this kind of fingering, this kind of fingering. So everything is kind of right here in the fifth position. And now, like I said before, the synth melody an octave higher. Now the fun part. When these chords come in, I feel that they're slightly less staccato. They're a little bit more, the chords are held a little bit more. And these were fun to, well, they're how do you figure these out? Well, you listen to the recording and you play along with it. And if you need to slow it down digitally or otherwise, old-timey with a tape. So we got this F with the E flat on top. D9 with the E on top. So take advantage of bass notes wherever they occur. Again, block familiar chord shapes that we can all relate to. Here's your C7 sharp 9, C major 7. The melody notes are important here. E on top, C major 7, B flat minor 7 with the F, and then A flat major 7, whatever, 9, major 9 with the G on top, D flat major 7, and then F sharp major 7, but with this note in the melody. And then I think I actually didn't even listen this far, but I think now what it does is just that introduction, it cuts it in two and just goes from the B to the E. And as promised, here's a little bit of tour of the studio. Back there, some bass amplifiers, my Fender Rhodes with some books and magazines I haven't looked at in years. Probably should. CDs. I love box sets. Charlie Parker, Art Tatum, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Sinatra, those kind of things. Coltrane, you know, the jazz, and some fusion too. And pretty much every Zappa album there is down there somewhere. Anyway, drums, tons of amplifiers that I haven't used in years. Here's a Mesa Boogie 5050. I think I last powered it up in like 1996 or something. Back in the days, I used to do a lot of session work. Don't anymore much. This is the best amplifier in the world right here, the Yamaha DG80. In fact, I got two more of them. The 100 versions, one and another. Here's another throwaway amplifier, just for the heck of it. Some Mesa Boogie cabinets, Dean Markley, great amp. Here's another throwaway that I use on, well, not much anymore, a couple of Fenders. This is a great recording amplifier right here, this Princeton. When I record, I put everything pretty much on 10. You can't see, well, except for the whatever it's called, the tremolo. Everything else is on 10, and it's great for a rhythm. Another Yamaha. Here's the desk where I do some audio, video. Oh, what a messy desk. Anyway, guitars, strings, acoustics, electrics. A lot of guitars that I don't really use anymore. Probably should dump them. Here's a Z-tar. I'm sure you have never seen one before. Or maybe you have. 9-string guitar. My vinyl. And that is my humble man cave right there. I got a mattress there on the floor. I do some stretches and so forth. Yeah, truly a man cave. There's a beer. There's a little bit of a fridge full of beer here off to the side. And hey, we'll see you next week, folks.